been wanting to move the potting bench from the shed into the polycrub here for some time now. It's warmer, so it's nicer to work, it's brighter, there's more air and space. And I've also set up a seed sowing station over here for very early seeds. It's just so much warmer in here compared to the greenhouse. But I have tons of other things that I need to get done before the growing season truly commences. And so today I'm going to go over 10 things that we could all be doing right now to prepare for seed sowing and a productive gardening season ahead. Let's dig in. Potentially one of the most enjoyable things that we can do right now is something we can do indoors where it's warm and cozy. And that's going through our seed collections, setting aside the ones that we don't need anymore or don't want anymore, and we can give those away at seed swaps or to another gardener, making lists of seeds that we need or want. So if we're low on certain ones, put in your orders now, and also creating a seed sowing plan. And a seed sowing plan is essentially something that keeps you organized and keeps you in seedlings and veg right through the growing season. It reminds you that certain seeds need to be sown at certain points in the growing year. As far as plants are concerned, they can be quite expensive to buy in the growing season. If you go to a garden center, you buy a potted rose, for example, you'll be paying a lot of money. But now in winter, you can get a lot of plants, including roses, sent to you in the post bare roots. So that means that they don't have any soil or potting mix around their roots. And because they don't have that extra weight, they're a lot cheaper. And so you can order bare root roses and bare root strawberries, bare root hedgerow plants, bare root asparagus crowns, so many different plants right now bear roots. And if it's mild enough, you can plant them directly out in the garden. And if it's not, you can pot them up and put them into a greenhouse or polytunnel, or at least heal them in. Something that you might not have considered up until now is growing your own mushrooms. And winter is a great time to order both mushroom kits for growing mushrooms indoors and inoculated mushroom dowels for putting into branches and small logs, so that you have a steady supply of mushrooms that you can harvest in a month's time and also throughout the year. In winter, perennial plants go dormant. They're essentially sleeping. And so what we can do with them right now is that if we put them in the wrong place, we want to move them, we can dig them up now, like I have with these chives and Welsh onions, and plant them somewhere else. As long as the ground isn't frozen, we can do this now in winter. And when they wake up in spring, they won't even know that they've been moved. While we should avoid doing too much with the soil when it's frozen and wet, what we can do is focus on our pathways. And I use wood chips for my pathways. And this is a great time of the year just to put down a new layer or actually create brand new wood chip paths. You can often get wood chips for free if you contact a local tree surgeon or arborist. And sometimes nowadays they're often sold as well. So you can order in a load from someone. And that might be the quicker option if you need them right away. But regardless, wood chips are a great resource to use as a path because they break down 2 or 3 years and you'll have a really moisture retentive compost that you can just shovel from the paths directly on your beds. From next month, our attention is going to be taken over by seeds and seedlings and young plants. But until then, we can build garden features and garden infrastructure that's going to make our lives a lot easier once the growing season starts. I'm talking about pathways, I'm talking about trellises, plant supports, garden edging, and even building a dead hedge, which is what this thing is here beside me. I showed you how to make one of them in my last video. It's a great use for woody garden waste. It creates a windbreak a separating barrier, and it just looks really interesting and rustic as well. So get your garden infrastructure and projects done as quickly as you can before those seedlings take over. Cleaning out our garden storage and our sheds is also something we can do right now. In the growing season, they can get massively cluttered and dirty. It happens to all of us. So going through your shed right now, clearing it out, putting aside things that you don't need, take an inventory of the things that you have and maybe need a bit more of. This is something that we can do right now. And you also notice I've got some black plastic on one of my windows there. Storm blew it out, so I've got glass to replace in it. And I also have some paint inside the shed, and I plan on painting the entire thing again as soon as the weather warms up. It's going to be a slightly different color. One really great job for this month is cleaning, sharpening, and oiling our garden tools. And I'm talking not just our hand tools, but also our spades and our garden forks and our hoes and shovels, clearing them of the dirt and muck that might still be on them from last year, and getting them ready is going to save you some time and also make gardening so much easier. Now, as far as cutting blades, so your snips and secateurs and loppers, some of the sap on there, you can see there's a bit of sap on this one, that will come off with something called a Cremate. It's like a magic eraser tool for garden tools, and it also helps to get rust off as well. You might want to also sharpen your blades and oil them as well. Camellia oil is the #1 oil that you want to use with garden tools, and you can get that from garden supply shops. One thing that I'm really passionate about in winter is feeding garden birds. Civilization in general takes up so much space, and we hack down hedgerows, we hack down areas where wild birds and other animals can live. But one thing that we can do to help is to feed them, especially in winter. And you can put bird seed out, or you can make fat cakes as well, which are really easy. They are essentially animal fats like tallow or lard mixed together with grains and seeds and other types of ingredients that are specific maybe to the birds in your region, letting it harden and then setting them out for birds to eat. It's an energy-rich source for them, and it helps them to survive winter and into spring when forage is a little bit better for them. Before you start seed sowing and moving seedlings inside, make sure that you clean out your greenhouse. Use a bright and clear day, scrub that glass so that lots of light can get through. Take pots out, look for slug eggs, just clean the entire lot. It will save you so much grief later on in the growing season, and it will create a really nice space for your seedlings to grow up and for you to work in. One thing that you'll have noticed I have not brought up thus far is sowing seeds. And I have not started any seeds thus far this year, not a single one. Because I think that what's going to end up happening from here on out is I'm not going to start any seeds until February. Although there are some that do benefit from an early start, so spicy chili varieties, the ones that are going to blow your head off, they benefit from an early start, as do onion seeds if you want to grow your onions from seed. Loofah, if you want to grow your own sponge this year, you can start it now. And also eggplant, aubergine seeds, you can start them in January. But I'm actually going to start my eggplant in February this year because I'm pretty sure that they'll do just fine and produce on schedule. Plants really do catch up, and they will benefit better from being planted out as soon as they're ready rather than lingering on indoors in an environment that really isn't as suitable for them. There's a general rule that you want to sow your seeds about 4 to 6 weeks before you know that you can plant them in their final positions, whether that be out in your garden or in a polytunnel or greenhouse. So keep that in mind. And in the next video, in 2 weeks' time, I'm going to take you along on all the seeds that I'm sowing at that point, along with my seed starting mix and all of that. Now, until then, and you might have been eyeballing this potting bench here beside me, I have a video showing how to make this out of pellets. So if you are in need of an inexpensive place to stand at and sow your seeds comfortably, then go ahead and make one of these. And that video is ready for you to go on to next. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time here on Lovely Greens. Bye for now.